Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today, yes, as you can tell by the title, I am finally answering some questions in regards to my weight loss. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you so much for tuning in today. For those who are checking me out for the first time and those who are my continued subscribers who check in from week to week, welcome back. Pull up a chair, grab your beverage of choice. This will be a longer video because I want to address several different things, as well as show some before afters, well, not before afters, but reaching my first milestone, and then want to share with you what I do for workouts and different things of that nature. So, and I decided to stay in my workout gear. Why not? I just got in from exercising not too long ago, drinking my Tumeric Shake, which I will talk about later on, and I'll leave the recipe down in the description box as well. But anyway, so I have reached my first milestone, and for me, my first milestone, and I always said I will come in once I've reached that, is 25 pounds down. Now technically the day I'm recording this, which is September 22nd, which is only a day earlier than when you're seeing this, I'm actually lower than that, lower than the 25 pounds, but I will get into what my goal weight is, excuse me, and all of that later on in the video, so you're gonna have to just stay tuned. I'll talk about what my current weight is, goal weight, all of that. And so also, just as a disclaimer, I only plan to do these type of videos after I hit each of my milestones. This is not a week, I'm not going to do weekly updates or weight loss updates like that, but as I reach my personal milestones, I'll just share with you how that milestone journey went, lessons learned, different things of that nature. So the only thing that I'll come back in and share, and you'll have to let me know, again, I'll discuss this later in the video, I do plan to have a DEXA scan done here in the near future if you want to know my results from that, which, you know, takes into your whole your body makeup and everything like that, for goal weight and all that. Let me know, I'll come back in for that. But anyway, so here we go, let's jump right into it. And I have my notes because I want to make sure I cover everything. I've written down questions I've received, and so I'm making sure that I kind of answer them as I'm going over what my process has been over the past several months, and just my whole weight loss journey in general. So one of the things that I do take in consideration as I'm going through this weight loss journey, as you all know, I sew all of my clothes, which I'm perfectly happy with. That is my personal preference, to sew my clothes. I don't have a desire to go into the stores and buy anything at this point. So for me, so with that, I do have to take various things into consideration as I'm making things. So before I get all the way into this, let me just say this. Okay, with all due respect, I don't have to give you a disclaimer that I'm not a doctor. If you don't know that, you haven't been watching my channel. But anyway, but let me first say this. Do not get triggered. By all due respect, everybody must figure out what they need to do for themselves, what works for them. There may be things that I say, all of these things I say in this video are my opinion only, and what works for me. So do not get triggered when I mention certain things, or I say I don't agree with X, Y, and Z, and da 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 da. If I name something specific, don't get triggered. That is my personal preference and what my weight loss journey is looking like. So I know, with all due respect, I know people love these type of videos to put all their comments down below, and you should do this, you should do that, da 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 da. I'll more than likely delete those comments, only because I've already told you right now, don't get triggered. So if you don't agree with something I have said, that is fine. Do what works best for you. make sure you visit with your own personal doctor and do what it is that go through whatever tests and things to determine what your body can handle, what your dietary needs are, and if you have to see a nutritionist, different things of that nature. Definitely do what works for you. These are things that work for me, and so this is what I will continue to do. So again, don't get triggered. So getting started, my weight loss journey. As you all know, I've talked about this before. For those who don't know, I have previously lost 100 pounds on Weight Watchers. And during that time, this had to be though, maybe 10 years ago, if not longer. At the time, that program worked for me. I have since tried to rejoin Weight Watchers on several occasions since, and I'm just not into that program anymore. But also what has changed is that I am looking at my nutrients a little bit more closer, looking at trigger foods, different things that may inflame me. So when I say that is because I've also talked about this on in previous videos. I have an autoimmune disease, and so for me, I need to pay attention to those things that trigger inflammation in my joints. So that's either through food or different types of exercise. So for me, I am, and here's something that might trigger somebody. I'm not one that believes the older you get, the harder it is. No, I'm not in my 20s. But what in the autoimmune disease for me, I've had for many years, probably my late 20s, when I first found out. And how I found that out was because I used to do HIIT classes, high intensity impact training classes. I used to do jogging more regularly. This is around that time when I hit my goal and all of that. And then I had begun to notice my joints, my knees would swell. I would have some kind of joint pains in my wrist and different things of that nature after workouts. Because you know, with those type of workouts, if you're not familiar, sometimes you're doing burpees, you're doing sprints and squats, and it's just high intensity impact training classes. And so I enjoyed those classes. And I used to do them in combination with Zumba classes and different things. I absolutely love gym classes. So it's a little bit of a bummer we can't go now. Technically we can. I'm not going. And they're very limited, but no. But at any rate, so I remember having a doctor's appointment, and they ran all this blood work on me and came back with I had developed an autoimmune. And so the doctor went over with me different foods that would trigger it for me. I already know dairy was not something that I could have. That's been since I was a little girl. I remember having tests done, and dairy was an allergy for me. But as I got older, different things that have maybe dairy in it, sodium, gluten, different things like that. That can trigger inflammation for me and can affect me through food or exercise, that I just need to make sure all the squats, even the doctor showed me the type of squats I can do, but then other things that I can do that just eliminate that whole bending down at the knees that I can do. And so those are just, that's been over quite a few years. I've been knowing that. Not to say, and I even learned that lesson this year, that when I tried to do squats, incorporate squats at the beginning of the whole pandemic, when it started in March and we were working from home, I went several weeks, not several, 3 weeks doing squats every day, and I knew better, but yeah, I was out of commission for like a week and a half after doing that, because it's just too much for my joints. And it's not going to get better with me losing weight, because when I first found all this out, I was not even where I am now. So I already know, just exit out. But I'll show you some of the things that I do for exercise. So I'll save that. So for me, for my weight loss, I went from, usually my weight loss journey goes like this. I'm not one that keeps clothes in my closet because, oh, I'm always between 20-25 pounds and this type thing, and so my clothes fit vastly different in this 20-25 pound range. That's not always the case for me. I'm either at the heaviest of the heavy or I'm at the lowest of the low, if that makes sense. In that in between, I bypass that. So I'm either up high or down low. So I don't keep closets of clothes and everything, and I don't want to do that. Keeping clothes, oh, I was a size 14 when I was wearing this, and keeping it in my closet. For me, I don't do stuff like that. That's just not my thing. But so either I'm at the very large end or always at the small end. So I don't fluctuate from one extreme to the next. It's just these the highest of my 20-25 to the lowest of 25 I'm usually playing around with. And so that's pretty much how my journey has been. And so me gaining the weight back that I lost on Weight Watchers was a gradual thing. And it went from anywhere from stressors in life to, oh, I can have this, to, oh, do this, do that. And you just get rid of it. You just get rid of whatever consistency that was in place. And so for me, it's either I'm in it or I'm not. And so this whole adage of, oh, the older you get, the harder it is. No, the older you get, the more responsibilities you have. This is at least how I see it. The more responsibilities you have. You have relationships, you have children, maybe you have jobs that is more sedentary and you're not moving around as much as you used to. Those are things that you're going to have to actively combat. You can't just say, oh, I just have a desk job. And say for those who don't have a full-time job, and maybe you just work from home, or you just have a business from home or something like that, that still doesn't give you an excuse just to sit around all day. That's just my personal opinion, and I'm only speaking from what I know. The weight is not gonna come off by dreaming and wishing and, oh, that looks so good, oh, the day I can get into that, and blah blah blah. First and foremost, I've said this many times. As I go through my weight loss journey, I am not one that's going to sew up a bunch of knits. That's not my thing. If I want something woven, I will sew something woven. Here's the thing with sewing, and I'll transition into that. Sewing on weight loss can be challenging in some ways, in that, at least for me, I find, you all know I had gotten into the habit of tracing patterns, which, you know, I do not enjoy, but it is a necessary evil for making adjustments, different things of that nature, and I don't want to be cutting up the original pattern. But one of the things with that is, with weight loss, which makes it a little bit of a challenge, which is a fine challenge, I'm willing to accept it, is I find myself having to retrace, and will have to retrace more frequently, some things I have made already and going forward. That's just part of the journey, and I'm fine with that. And it's not fun. No, it's not fun to trace. But for me, that's what I find that works for me. And so, and I'm also not one to put off making something just because I'm this size. For me, that makes no common sense. To say, oh, I'm not going to make that coat or those jeans or those pants or that top until I lose 20 pounds. For me, that sets up an internal battle in my mind. This is just don't get triggered, because this is just my opinion. If you waiting for that ideal day to look a certain way, be a certain way, you constantly already battling the struggle, the mental blockage, whatever mental blockage that you have going on already, to be consistent, to exercise, to eating differently, to whatever it is that you have to do to get the weight off. If you already mentally battling that, you're going to give yourself another mental battle on, oh, I'm not going to please myself, or you know, have those pair of jeans because I'm this weight. To me, that's a mental battle I don't want, I don't need, and I just don't agree with. So those are some of the things I just refuse. I refuse to sew with knits. The other thing I refuse to do as I lose weight, I do not do alterations. not my thing. I do not, me personally, don't believe in doing alterations of clothes that have gotten too big for me. And I'm about to share with you some befores here in a moment. But not my thing, not my thing. What I will do is donate those clothes, happily donate them. If I have to do any quick mending of something, if the hem dropped or something, I can do that, but it's being donated. And no, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to repurpose that whatever it is that I made for something else. That's just not my thing. So I'm not going to put pressure or things on myself that is just not me. And so that may be something that you would be interested in for those who sew and make your clothes and doing alterations and all of that. But for me, no, I'd rather just make something from scratch. That's just my personal preference. However, saying that, what I am paying attention to more lately, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, because I know I'm not going to alter anything or keep anything as I lose weight. As it gets too big, I'm going to donate it or consign it if I can. I am being more diligent and more careful about my finishing techniques. So if it's French seaming something, if it's using bias binding, if it's Hong Kong seam finishes, if it's different things like that that I can do, which technically should be thinking of that anyway while you're making your clothes, but because I know this may go to another home, I am just actively being a little bit more conscious about the things that I'm making so far as finishing techniques, and trying to do my best at it. I'm still learning even in that area. But those are just some of the things I'm doing because I know I'm not planning on keeping the clothes. So life is too short. Make the dang jeans. Make the dang jacket. Make whatever it is that you want to make. Don't wait for that perfect ideal. Again, that's just me. So now I want to share with you some befores. I took out, I have already donated quite a bit of stuff over the past few months. I've mentioned that in a few videos. The journey for me, where now my head is in it. Now my head is in this thing. I been since March, like I said, when we were working from home. And so at the time, because it was in 2019, I stayed between, I started, I think this is when I tried to rejoin Weight Watchers. I started again between the whole I started Weight Watchers at 298. I'm 5'7". So I might not look like I'm 298, but I'm 5'7", so I am a little bit taller. But I fluctuated between 298, 284, 285, 290. I just went back and forth in between those. And I wasn't doing other things also to help with like toning either. So I just pretty much stayed in that range. And so when I began, once we started working from home, I was down to 296. So 296 pounds. So let me just share with you a couple looks. I'll pop up on one side how this outfit fit before, and I'll show you how it fits today. Actually, I took these pictures today. So the Vogue dress I am wearing, this is I cannot remember what Vogue, I'll put the Vogue pattern number. It's the one with the V cut. I made this 2 years ago, 2018, when we went to Florida on our anniversary trip. And as you can tell in this picture, it is very tight fitting around the bust, very fitted around the waist. It still has a nice little flare at the bottom, but you can definitely tell. And then take a look at my face in all of these pictures. My face up in this area is much fuller. You can definitely see it. It's very obvious. And so today's picture, which I'll pop up here, you can tell up in the bust area, and I did do a quick little twirl videos too. It is, there's room up in the bust, so where the darts and everything was sitting just right, and I was filling out the bust area of the dress. It's not filling out as much anymore, which is perfectly fine. But I have not donated this only because I'm thinking, here's the thing, again, for me to get rid of that dress, it just has to just look super baggy on me. And I see that while the bust area doesn't fit, and no, I'm not going to alter it. But what I didn't do was put on my strappy cami. I have a purple strappy cami I can wear up underneath it to see how that looks. If it still looks, because I think the back still looks good on it and the waist down still looks good on it. Yes, it is more roomier. I don't know if I shared with you, at the start of March I was 53-inch bust, 47 waist, and 57 hip. Now I am a 50 bust, a 45 waist, and a 52 hip. So those so it is roomier in the hip area. It's just 2 inches down in the waist, but still I figure I can still get away with wearing that with the strappy cami. I'm gonna see how it looks, but I don't want to get rid of that because you all know purple is my favorite color. And so yeah, I love that dress, but I'll happily donate it once it just, yeah, it's time to let it go, which will be probably my next milestone. It'll be gone by then. Okay, so this next look are my pink pants. So these pants, you all know I made using my block, my pants block. And so of course, when you're using your block and all of that, you get a perfect fit, a really good fit. Everything hangs just right, all of that good stuff. Well, looking at today's picture, we are way baggy. And actually, I did have to hold them up a little bit in the front because it's where it was originally sitting at my waist. It's not sitting there anymore. It has dropped down the pants. And then of course you can tell between the crotch is baggy. It's all kind of room there. So that is how these pants are now fitting. Now, so for the pants, what I plan to do is just donate those. However, I did see, and maybe this came from washing, because I hand stitched the part of the waistband. No, all of the waistband, but I saw a couple stitches may look like they may have loosened up, and that's probably just through washing. I am going to re-hand stitch that down, but yeah, those are getting donated. I'm not hanging on to them. I'm not altering them, none of that. So yeah, so those are the pink pants. Now the next dress I want to show you is this Vogue denim dress. Now I'll put the pattern number because I don't remember, but anyway, I just did this last year, February, for my birthday when we went to Vegas. Yes, that was Vegas last year, 2019. And so as you can tell, again, it's definitely more fuller at the top. You can tell waist, and you can tell my tummy a little bit more in this before picture and then this after picture. What you see, because if you haven't been able to tell, it's this area that I start to lose the weight, and then in my hip area. And so you'll notice like this area on that Vogue dress, sorry about that, my camera cut off, around my armpit area there, you can tell it's just way gappy, way gappy. There's definitely room, not a bad amount of room in the waist, and I was thinking about holding on to this, but just because I'm not gonna fix, no, I'm not gonna fix that gaping around there, put any darts in or do unpick. No, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna go ahead and donate it. There is an area where I want to reinforce the bias binding around the armhole, that I'll do that, but it's getting donated. I'm not keeping it. So those are just a couple things I wanted to show that was obvious to me, and those things that I have kept. Like I said, a lot of other things have been long donated over the past few months. And so yeah, so now let's transition into what I'm doing, and this is where I'll answer quite a few of the questions that I have received. So one of the things that I'm doing is, like I said, I am paying attention more to my macronutrients and different things that can cause triggers for me, and so through my food. So we're going to talk about that first, the food aspect of things. So I have downloaded the app Carb Manager. I'll leave a link down to it down below, but it allows you to track your macronutrients more at a granular level, and so you can really see how much protein you're getting in, how much fat you're getting in, total carbs, net carbs. And no, before anybody asks, I'm not technically doing keto, and no, I'm not technically doing paleo. And for me, it's parts of both of those that I do like. Paleo, obviously, because it takes out a lot of the whole gluten and grain and dairy and different types of things. Then keto focuses on low carb, but you know, they have this strict thing about green beans and certain fruits and stuff like that. No, so I don't follow either. I'm not following keto, I'm not following paleo, but I am incorporating things that I do like out of both plans that work for my body. And so I don't call it anything, because I'm not, I'll get an F from both, because I'm not following either one to a science or anything like that. But I have adapted some of the things out of both of those that work for me. Paleo has always worked for me, just because, like I said, it eliminates some of the things I know that cause inflammation for me. And so I find that using the Carb Manager, you put in your weight, you put in all your information, so then you know what your calorie intake is and all of that, and just do your own research on Carb Manager. I'll leave the link down below, but I like it, excuse me, and I'm able to build up my recipes in there. And yeah, all that stuff take time. If you don't have time to be doing all that type of stuff, don't look into it. But because where I am and my head is in it, it helps me continue to be consistent. And so one of the things also that I've been doing is increasing my protein intake and increasing my fats. So more of the good fats than just any old kind of fat. My preferred methods of exercising is walking. I do slogging, which is a slow jog. It's probably not a real term, but anyway, and I do that in different intervals throughout my walk. I love doing I wrote down here Aqua Hit, but that's not the name of it. Maybe it's Aqua Fit. Where I loved Aquafit classes, because you are going against your own body weight in the water. Love it. Obviously, they've totally eliminated those type of classes at my gym. And so, which is fine, because I don't believe I would go anyway. I don't know that I would trust it. But those are the type of classes. Also, Zumba. I still enjoy Zumba, and yes, with joint issues, you cannot do everything that you see Zumba instructors doing. You have to modify it. When I was taking in-person classes, instructors always show the modified versions, and you still got a good sweat and still got a good workout. So you would have to modify those type of workouts. And there's also different Zumba classes online, YouTube, that you can watch too, which I haven't found one that I'm absolutely floored by. If you know a good Zumba YouTube, maybe leave it down below. But so far right now, I'm just doing the walking, slogging. I also do push-ups. So with my push-ups, remember I talked about with joint pain and different things like that. So for me, my modified, I don't do push-ups off my knees. I know a lot of people might suggest that or say that's what they do, but I don't, because again, that's pressure on my joints that I don't need. So in a moment, I'll show you my workout and then how I do my push-ups. And then the other thing is that I do, which I was already doing, but I wasn't conscious that I was doing it, is intermittent fasting. Now, what is that? I eat between 11 and 7, 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. And then the other times is just the non-eating hours is I'm either sleep or drinking water if I'm up. And the reason I say I was doing it unintentionally, but now I'm doing it more intentional, is I am not a breakfast person. I never have been. And so I tend not to start eating anything. I might have water or something in the mornings, but I wouldn't tend to eat, especially since we've been working from home, till around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock even. And then I'm usually done eating by 8 p.m. Now here's the difference and why I decided to set up a specific time frame. Before I started consciously intermittent fasting, what I would do before, excuse me, is just eat a bunch of random stuff. I would just eat, and again, this is before I got really zoned in, which happened probably a couple months ago, on actually what I'm putting in my mouth. Is that I was just eating whatever between that 12 and 8 o'clock hour. And yeah, I would see minimal losses here and there. I had a couple gains, because at the time I was eating things like popcorn, gluten laden things, different stuff like that that caused inflammation that I just wasn't paying attention to, that I should have been more conscious about, actually, since I've been knowing about my autoimmune disease for quite some time, and I have cut out a lot of things because of that. But when I decided to switch to the intermittent fasting, I was like, you know what, I pretty much eat anyway I decided to give myself between 11 and 7. And it's only one because I don't want to wait till 12 o'clock to eat or 1 o'clock to eat, because that was a bad habit. Even when we were in the office, I wouldn't eat lunch until like 1:30, 1 o'clock. I would snack on stuff before, but now that we're home, I'm just being more conscious about, okay, it's 11 o'clock, time to break my fast. I'm gonna eat, have this, I'm gonna drink that, but I'm being more specific about what it is I want to eat and what I plan to eat during that 11 to 7. Am I getting the right amount of protein in? Am I getting the amount of fat in? Again, with the carb manager, it helps with that. I want to keep to a certain amount of carbs per day, net carbs per day, and different things of that nature, making sure I'm getting my water in. So before, when I was just kind of haphazardly, unintentionally doing intermittent fasting, I was just eating all kind of things under the sun, including a lot of candy and other junk. But now it's like, okay, nope, we're going to be more focused on the nutrients that you're putting in your body. You're exercising, working out, different things of that nature. Let's just focus on putting cleaner things inside of the body instead of just any old thing, which is what I was doing. So let me share with you an example of my workout. What I'm going to share is and they're very short clips, my walking and slogging routine, and then the push-ups that I do. And the other thing I do, I didn't record, is when I'm brushing my teeth, and I have it don't matter if you have a manual or not, I have a sonic, so you know it's all timed and everything. So I do side leg lifts while I'm just standing there, and it's all timed, and I'm counting how many reps I'm doing on one side, and then when it's time for me to move the brush over, then I do the side leg lifts on the other side. And so that's just what I do. I'm standing there anyway, why don't I do something? So that's what I do. So let me drop in here real quick, and then I'll show you what I make my turmeric shake with. Okay, for my turmeric shake, I use the Califia Unsweetened Almond Milk. I also put in ginger. This is vanilla extract. We have cinnamon. Of course, we have the turmeric. I usually use either the drops or the packets of the stevia. This one is actually, I like the flavor of it. It's a French vanilla. And then it also calls for the liquid coconut oil. And then so far as my collagen, I go between either using the keto collagen. This one has MCT in it and it's salted caramel. It just depends what I'm feeling. Or I will use the Equip Complete Collagen, which is unflavored. And the protein, the Equip, this is also by Equip, the vanilla. They also have chocolate. They're out of the other flavors right now, but this is pretty much what I use to put in my, and today I'm using the unflavored instead of this one. And then for supplements, I use the Equip Joint Support, as well as I also take a multivitamin as well. But for joint support, I have this, but also the collagen helps with that as well. So yeah, that is my turmeric shake and what I tend to put in it. Okay, so as you can see, that's my workout at the moment. I did push up my walking in the summer. I don't know what made me do this. I was ready for increased distance, but this is when it was 100 degrees and our heat index was high. But I did increase. I started out at walking a half mile, and then I just incrementally increased it. And now I'm up to 2 miles, but I only do a mile and a half. I cut off, I don't know how long I did the 2 miles for, but I cut it off because it was just too hot outside. But now that we're starting to get 80 degrees in the morning, which I know is still hot for many people, but for me, early in the morning at 80 degrees, I can walk a little bit longer. So probably here in the next week or two, I'll increase my distance back to 2 miles. What I'm really trying to work my way up to is getting those 10,000 steps. Specifically outdoors, because you can, if you're counting your steps throughout the day, you can reach 10,000 steps by doing random things, you know, walking around the house, going here and there, going to the store. But where I would prefer my 10,000 steps to come from is strict exercise. So strictly through walking, slogging, whatever it is, through that form of movement, as opposed to just randomly me moving around the house, different things of that nature. Excuse me. And so so after my workout at 11 is usually when I have my shake, and keeps me full, and then I wait till around 12:30, because again, working during the day, break around 12:30, and then I'll eat my food, whatever it might be, whatever protein and fat I decide to have for that day, blah blah blah. And so that's what I do. So let's talk about goal weight. So my goal weight, I am planning to do a DEXA scan. And for those who don't know what a DEXA scan is, it is an x-ray, so you might feel, you know, a little jitterish about that, but it is an x-ray that takes your full body composition. Now, when I was on Weight Watchers and I met with my doctor, she knew all about Weight Watchers and everything. But Weight Watchers at the time, I don't know now, so I can't speak to it. They went off the index that if your BMI is this and if your height is this, you need to be this particular weight and everything. My doctor already told me that's not realistic for everybody, because everybody's body is not made the same and their body composition is the same. And I am one person that is larger bone. My body composition is different. So at the time, my doctor set my Weight Watcher goal for 190. And that's what I took to Weight Watchers. But my personal goal that she set for me was between 170 and 175. And so, and I had gotten down to 180. So I had lost 100 pounds with Weight Watchers. And for the life of me, I can't find those pictures. I have to dig, because I think they're actual pictures. They're not in the phone anywhere. So and they're still packed up somewhere. So I apologize, I don't have those pictures to share, but I love the way I looked. And what I was doing with my exercise, I just liked the way I looked at that weight. And so the DEXA scan, this is new to me, but what I've learned about the DEXA scan is the x-ray that takes your full body composition and tells you, because it's taking everything in consideration. I'll leave a link about DEXA scan down below. Do your own research on DEXA scan, but there are places you can go to here in the Houston area where you can get that done, and it's covered by your flexible spending account, or HSA. And so which is good. So I will have that done, and that gives you what your goal weight for your personal body composition should be. My guess is it will be still between that 170 and 175. That seemed very realistic to me. I think on Weight Watchers, just for reference, my goal weight was supposed to be like 140, no, maybe 140, 150. Something crazy like that. I look like I'm on crack. No. No, thank you. I want to be a healthy size, a healthy weight, and not try to maintain something that's not maintainable. So I will leave the recipe for the turmeric shake down below. Again, why I like it is because turmeric is good for joints and ginger, and so you can most certainly switch out. I don't think I saved the link to the recipe, the original recipe. You can switch out the powder that I show you for all. So instead of using turmeric powder, you can use actual turmeric. You can use actual ginger instead of ginger powder. And so that's just what I use. And you can also add ice cubes to it also. Sometimes I find I might want that just to make it taste better colder. If I'm not going to drink it right away, I'll make it and just stick it in the refrigerator till I'm ready to have it, because I do like it colder. So yeah, that is it, you guys. I know this was a long video. I hope this answered a lot of questions that I've received. And yeah, if you're interested, because I plan to do the DEXA scan I have to get the appointment set up and everything, but hopefully within the next couple weeks, beginning of October. If you want to know the results of my DEXA scan and what it came back with, because it measures your visceral fat, all this different type of stuff, let me know. I'll come in and at least do that. But outside of that, you will not get another video from me on my weight loss until I reach my next milestone, which is another 25 pounds. So my goals, my milestones are broken up in 25-pound increments. And so as I reach those 25-pound increments, I'll come in with another, I'm down X amount of pounds. This is how I'm doing, some things I've learned. So if you want to know about the DEXA scan results, let me know. I'll come in and do that video, but you will not get another weight loss video from me until I'm down my next milestone. So all right, everybody, thank you so much for those who stayed in all the way to the end of the video. I greatly appreciate it. If you are interested, for those who are coming here just to hear the weight loss and not interested in the sewing, maybe I've enticed you to watch some sewing videos. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell. Everybody else, I will see you on Sunday for a collaboration sewing video. All right, everybody, bye.